Why do you think the marketing is actually important?
Oh my God. I think it stems back from it goes back years, doesn't it? I mean, decades, hundreds of years, but actually promoting yourself in an area. If you think about the old days when you used to go to market with your animals and your vegetables and things, it's been seen. And then over the years, it's evolved over time. And then now we're in a very much digital world. And it's just like there's so much noise. People are just distracted all the time because it's not just other people's content that gets distracted, you get distracted by. It's social media, your kids, dinner, things like that. But things miss out on, people miss out so much on things. And I think that is the crucial bit. The other thing as well is marketing isn't the colouring in department anymore. It's not adverts. And I hate it when people say, oh, we're doing LinkedIn and we're doing Google ads. And I'm like, okay, so who's your buyer? I'm like, what do you mean who's your buyer? And it's actually commercial. Marketeers are turning into being commercial people. They have to be. They can't just be a copywriter. So
Mhm.
it's a crucial part or arm of your strategic marketing, your strategic business process. And I think
Mhm.
that is the key.
Yeah, prove me wrong, but since I'm not from the survey, from my background, from the surveying industry, my point of view on like these traditional surveying companies is like they are these old dinosaurs, and they are just leveraging their history and history of clientele, and
Yeah.
just the business is coming in and coming in. But this is changing, right? It's not gonna last forever.
No, and for example, with surveying, it's very traditional, and over the years, it's been word of mouth. So a lot of surveyors have got people coming to them because of word of mouth. Now they're just not promoted; they don't promote themselves very well, so they're hidden away, and it's sort of a what is that? What is surveying? And I mean, you ask the general Joe public, they have no idea. Geospatial companies, for example, somebody like Topodot, they're more savvy. They're a bit more commercial orientated. They're more entrepreneurial. Whereas surveyors are not entrepreneurial. They take their equipment, they go off and do a job, whatever that job is. If it's in mining, if it's hydrography, if it's land survey, whatever that looks like. But they're off out on site. Whereas the geospatial guys are more techie. So it's a little bit of different. It's a different sector completely to think about.
Do you somehow distinguish them? Because as you mentioned, like, okay, the geospatial world is including all the different sub industries and so on. But when you're speaking to different companies, do you separate surveyors as like different species to anything else, or?
Different species. Not necessarily. I look at it on what they're trying to achieve, but also their mindset as a company or as the business owner. So you might get a geospatial, a techie company like a point cloud processing company, as an example, who's out there and they're looking for stuff and they're technical, they're advanced. Not saying that surveyors are not advanced, but they're just a different way of doing things. So I look at them and go, okay, what is the problem? So I try and get a bigger picture overview of the business. And I usually get that from the owner and also from the staff. And then if I can, I'll get my hands on some of the clients and ask some of the clients to actually understand what's going on. With surveying, it's a sweet spot for me because my dad's a surveyor, hydrographer and mine surveyor. So I've come from the surveying world, but we sold equipment to very dirty environments. So I've worked in mining, a lot of work in mining and oil and gas. So we did a lot of collision avoidance systems in oil and gas and stuff like that. So I've had a really good array of different companies. And then over the years, when I've worked with manufacturers and dealers, the problem both of the sectors, or if you just want to put them into geospatial, into a hub, is that they're it's very messy, and also companies generalize. So owners and directors of businesses usually put the marketing down the bottom. Oh, we need adverts, we need that, we need branding, we need a nice colored logo. But it's not, it's commercial. So whoever is savvy enough at the top, the surveyor, the geospatial guys, the owners, directors, if they're savvy enough to go, okay, wait a minute here, we need to dig deeper here and really think about the layers of how it fits in with strategy, sales. It's a big thing for sales is marketing now. It's more integrated, but also throughout the rest of the business. Because if you, Michael, if you're telling people what you do, but it's too general and not focusing on the right client, you're going to look like the guy down the road if you're a surveyor or you're a geospatial tech. It's the same. So that is a big issue.
I think this is coming to our maybe first topic that we should discuss, like knowing your customer, right?
Yeah.
I think there are many companies, and I can see it not only in traditional. Okay, I'm not going to diminish surveyors anymore. So that was just fun, guys. I'm totally a fan.
My people.
However, I can see this also with tech companies, with software hardware producers, that most of the time they are not sure who the actual client of their is, or they have an idea, but they are not brave enough to tell to themselves, okay, we need to position ourselves.
Correct.
And to like get rid of the portion of the market. So tell me your point of view. Like, why do you think to know your customer is actually important?
Yeah, there's fear. There's fear of missing out. That sounds funny saying that, but like they generalize, manufacturers generalize far too much because they want to capture everybody. But if you pick up your own magazine, whatever you're interested, if you pick it up and it's general, you won't read it. But if you pick it up and that's really what I want to read, and it's specific to you, you're more likely to read it. So it is a big issue. Every customer that I've worked with in the Geospatial Market Academy and retainer work that we do, they all get it wrong. Even the big guys, the big manufacturers get it way wrong because they just go, oh, it's, if they're selling to surveyors, oh, it's just surveyor. Wait a minute. Whoa, let's step back. And the thing is, then the smaller companies, the smaller guys, they are then trying to copy because they think the big guys are doing it right, and they're usually worse. So what I try and get them to think about is more about start with, who is my favorite client? Why is that client my favorite client? Oh, they pay well. There's really good margin in that product or that service that we do. Brilliant. They pay on time. They are nice to deal with. There might be a sweet spot in whichever market you're focusing on. Brilliant. Let's replicate that client. So when I teach anybody through the academy, or if I'm doing it or consulting or whatever, I'm like, right, we've got all these customers. Let's start with your favorite client. Now, have you got more of those types of clients? Oh yeah, I've got a few actually. Brilliant. Okay, let's expand on those clients. And then it's understanding. So Adele Rivella, she's from the Buyer Persona Institute. Really good, really in-depth information, great research on there on understanding that buyer. But then you clash that with, then you overloop it with understanding the roadmap that the client's in. So like, who is the character of the story? Who is the villain? And the villain is usually something like fear or something along those lines that trips them up. Then if you understand the buyer in the depth of their story, you can communicate the story in the whole, what we class as the customer journey. So it's understanding the whole journey before they even know who you are. That is the key. And if they don't get that right, it buggers up everything else. And it's so obvious when you're like, it's so simple, but do you know what the big thing is? One, it sounds simple. Two, it's bloody boring. It's boring. And that's an issue. People don't do it.
What I like to say to my clients when I'm consulting is that if you come to a bar and somebody would ask you like, who is your, like, what's your preference? Like, what type of a girl would you like to pick up? You can't say like anyone with the heartbeat. That doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
You need to have some preference, and then you know what to do and how to move and what not to do, for example. Because like, and it's not about the girls, it's also about the men when girl is coming to bar. So don't feel separated from this. It's very same. So yeah, you will definitely lose some potential clients or some leads, but the ones that will come to you are much more qualified for you.
Yeah. But the thing is to start off, keep what you're doing, do what you're doing. So you still got your low hanging fruit, you still got your clients coming through, but focus on someone, focus on a market that you want to explore more, or that type of client that pays well, or the profit margin is good, right? There must be more of these types of customers. Then develop that through your marketing, through your journey. That is what I would say, the big piece of advice I would do. Then it gains traction, then you get confident.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's more important to focus on whether I'm talking to an architect or a designer or engineer, or is it more important to focus on like these are people from the flesh and bones, and you need to communicate to them like they are real people and not just a reader of the ad?
So you hit the nail on the head there. You should have a look at all those people, because you might have the buyer, the guy that you're selling to, who has the purse strings, who's the owner, for example. But then you have the influencers that are around that owner. So if you don't talk to them, then they can influence the decision from the internal communications with the buyer. That's more advanced stuff, but yes, you have to. A really good book actually is The Challenger Customer by Brent Adams, and it talks about it's 6 to 7 people in the business to business journey. So anything that, like what we do, technical marketing, geospatial surveying, it is about looking at the different influencers influencing that buyer.
That's very important, because it already happened to me several times. Like the CEO just messaged me like, okay, I'm tired. Like several people from my team are just referencing to you and sending me links on your YouTube videos and whatever. Let's go do something together, right?
It's right. It's right. Yeah.
But people need to understand that the CEO, like the highest position or generally C-level people, especially in bigger companies, they don't have time to be going through LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever. So you need to have your own brand ambassador within the company. That's what you are saying, right?
Yeah. Challenge your customer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's understanding, and this is why networking is so important. Like nowadays, after COVID, everybody doesn't want to go anywhere or mingle or anything like that. And actually, that's the worst thing you can do, because you still need to be seen and to talk. And you might meet somebody and think, oh, that's really good, talking to them. And actually they've got an influence with somebody else. But it goes back to that, the buying decisions. And this is what, from a lead generation perspective, is that understanding who is related to the different people and how you build trust within that organization to buy you. So that is a big thing. There's some really good papers, research out at the moment for Forrester Research that I've done at indecisive decision making, indecisive buying, where people, B2B companies, big technical companies, have gone, do you know what? We're going to go with Michael. We're not going to go with that new guy because he's safe. And you might be the wrong decision. It might be the guy down the road that might be the better decision. So it's just the indecisiveness. So if you don't communicate your message with the right content in the journey, you miss all of that. And again, with the networking, it's a very complex ecosystem.
Do you think we should jump on a journey? You have mentioned it several times. And
journey, yeah, okay. Nice and basic. So you can see that clearly enough. Yeah, you can. So you have the journey. Now the journey is not linear. You don't go from problem not aware to problem aware to research. So this is why we've got these little at the side here. People go round in circles. So B2B buyers, people who are buying your services or your equipment or your software, are going to go, oh, we have a problem. Okay, so we sort of know where the problem is. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of research now. Most of the time, I would say 95, 98% of the time, all the people that are listening to this and beyond are in the buying journey, right? So all your content is, look how wonderful we are, and look at this and buy this, and we do X, Y, Z, and these are our features in this product, and et cetera, et cetera. But nobody is looking at the pre-buying journey where they explain at different levels. So now with the advancement of AI, and like I use it all the time to check stuff, and I also double check, and this is what we're doing with the National Society of Professional Surveyors in America, is that we make sure that we've got really good Q&A on the website pages, on all the website pages. Because what people are doing is they're going to go into ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity and ask for comparisons, or I have a problem, can you find me a solution? If you're not communicating that, you don't come up, and that's just going to get worse. So going back to the customer journey, it's literally understanding the whole journey itself. Bearing in mind, a lot of the work needs to be done in the pre-buying journey. Most of your communications, content, exhibitions, and bits and pieces need to be in the pre-buying journey, where you're communicating educational content that answers specific questions. Now, one of the things when you get into the buying journey, when they're like, oh, okay, we're going to go with Michael and this other guy. There's two companies that we want to use. Right. They're going to do a bit of comparison work. What is stopping you comparing what you do with your competitor on your website? Fear. Right? You don't want to promote your competitor.
It's not really allowed to compare yourself directly to your competition, is it?
You can. You can. It depends. The thing is, if you're going to compare, you need to compare on fact, not on emotion. Yeah. So like the difference between these two products are, right?
Okay.
The differences, they're factual, they're out in the public. You're not going to compare your personality to the competitor's personality, because that's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key things. There's lots of little things that you can do in there anyways. But going back to that journey, it's really understanding what you need to answer along that journey. So, for example, when they come into the buying journey and they're like, right, I'm going to go with Michael, you have had enough, there's enough said in that pre-buying journey where they've done their research and gone round and round in circles and asked several other people to look at the YouTube account and look at the different articles, that they've built up a trust. You want to build that trust. So when they get to you in your sleep, they want to buy from you. Have you had it, Michael, where somebody's phoned you up and going, we just want to buy from you?
No. Yes. And I think that we are already like way towards the end of the journey. And I think one important thing that people don't realize is that once the potential client has already decided that he has a problem or they have a problem, they know the solution and they want to buy something. Like, let's say it's 1/3 of the market, of your potential market, right? Then it's very difficult to compete because everybody knows who is your competition. So
Right.
then it comes down to the price. Then it comes down to performance, to like whatever you promise them, and it's very easily comparable to your competition, right?
Right.
So in order to get the phone call that you mentioned, like, Michael, we want to work with you, you need to do a long way of the work before they realize they have a problem.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, with your content and understanding the journey and how you need to plug it, it's done over time. Like, people do not need to do it all at once. They can't. You just don't know, because you need to learn as you go along. And, depending on how old your company is, or, the resources that you have in your company, because content creation is very time consuming. And also great content creation is very time consuming to get it right and understanding it. So it's like bit by bit. And that's why we always go on, where I always tell people to go on 90-day blocks. So they chunk off a 90-day plan, right? What do I need to get done to move forwards? That is key. Mm-hmm. So like when we do the academy, we teach people the foundations, and unfortunately the foundations are boring. Like, what's your vision? Where you're going? How are you going to get there? Who's your markets? Who's your buyers? This is the customer journey. It's boring. That's not fun. That's not creative. Let's get to an exhibition. Let's promote a new website. The amount of people that say to me, I need a new website. Look, okay, let's step back, because this is your basis. and you get this really right, you come back to it over years. You know, a lot of my GMAers, again, we call it in the academy, they go back and they go, right, okay, I just need to improve on this, pivot a little bit, tweak it, because you're learning all the time, and then you know what questions to ask your client, the market, so you can go back and improve on it. And that's the key. That is a big key.
Everybody wants success, but nobody wants to get successful, and that's important because the success is actually very boring. Like the road to success is very boring.
But look at it like going to the gym. Everybody wants a fit body now. Give me it now. They want it now.
Thank God for Ozempic.
Oh my God! No, don't do that. But, Jesus, it takes years. It takes consistency and years, and like again, consistency in posting, consistency in being present. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's taken, like, we launched Get Kids in Survey in 2017. It's taken until last year to this year to suddenly blow up. I'm like, where is all these people coming from? We're going to be launching Monopoly, surveying Monopoly this year, should I say, 2026. And it's like, wow. But it's taken time to get to where we are, almost 10 years. Do you know what I mean?
I'm getting these questions a lot. Like, how did you get to almost 100,000 followers on LinkedIn? With really boring things to do. Like, you have to sit there every day to a computer, do some content, do some posting, do some engagement, and very soon, in 2 or 3 years, you will get there. But it's really boring, and you got to do it whether you like it or not, whether you are in a mood or whether you have enough strength, power.
Yeah, but you are a really good example of that. You are consistent all the time. You're always on my thread. Even if you're just posting 2 or 3 times a week, you're popping up all the time. And again, same thing. Keep the consistency going. And again, if you don't have time, like a lot of my surveyors are out on site. They're usually small, 8 to 10, 15 people, you know, small crews that are going out. They're busy people, but they have to keep going and they have to keep putting things in. So again, going back to that 90-day plan, what are 3 things that you want to do in those 90 days? So for example, we're working with Dioptra, Stuart Ward, who I work with. He's in GMA. So he's one of my brand ambassadors in the Geospatial Market Academy. And for example, he's been with me since 2001, but bit by bit, he's started to tweak and update things. So if you go onto Stuart Ward's LinkedIn page, you'll notice all his posts are mainly educational, right? So that creates curiosity. So then they go to the website. The website has got to be simple. They click on the land survey stuff. They're like, how do I get approval on these developments? Right, click on the post. You go onto the post, it goes into the content and explains how he does it. That's educational content in the pre-buying journey. And he's saying to me now, it's brilliant. I love to hear this because he says, I've had another one. Somebody's just phoned up. Can we, you don't have to quote me. Tell me what it is, the price, and let's go and let's get it booked in. He's like, you don't want a price? And he's like, nope, because the trust is there.
This is a very important point. I'm most afraid of the emails, or I don't get these phone calls, but of emails that are saying, we have this product, please send us, or we have this problem, we want this service from you, please send us the quotation. This is the worst email, because you already know that you are in a competition with 10 different companies. Because whatever they did, it was just Googled companies that can solve their problem. They just spam emailed everybody with the same request, and they are just waiting for the quotations, and the best one will win. Yeah. So you have zero power, zero leverage to go with this.
I think it's more so as well with what you do.
Yeah.
With
Yeah, but yeah, when you say what you do, it's let's focus with this on reality capturing, so laser scanning and photogrammetry services for S-belts. Okay, so this is the type of the message that you don't want to receive. What you want to receive is, hey Michael, we're following you, and we need to scan this this facility. Let's discuss this. This is like the ideal customer.
Yes, that's exactly what you want. That's exactly what you want. Mm-hmm. Spot on.
Mm-hmm. How do you identify is the customer journey different for every company, or do you think it's very same with all the companies and service
Okay,
providers?
if you look at the journey, it's going back to your buyer. So the customer journey, it's not linear, like I said, but using that diagram to help you visualize where the customer potentially is in that journey is important. Every company is the same with that. Going back to the individual companies, they need to understand their buyers, because as a business, one manufacturer who sells the same equipment and the other manufacturer that sells the same equipment are still not the same. There might be a Pink Lady apple and a Granny Smith's apple, right? But if they don't understand their buyer properly, they look the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's then going back into the depth and going, right, okay, let's start with this client and let's walk along their journey from before they knew they had a problem right through to going with you guys to buy from you and understanding it. And one of the things I say to my GMAs is that, and my clients, is go and ask your customer. You must have one or two customers, Michael, that you absolutely love, and you could phone up right now and go, can you just check something for me? And they'll go, yeah, sure, I'll do anything for you. And they will tell you the truth.
I actually hate those because it actually works. Yeah, if I ask what could I do better, and
Right.
I'm expecting like, no, Michael, you are doing everything perfectly. No, they just give it to me like straightforward.
Yeah.
No, you should do this. You should do this differently.
But you know what? It's hard getting, because like when we launched GMA1, it was really difficult to get criticism back about the academy. But I'm like, you only know what you only know. So it's like, so I had to go in more research, more depth, and I have got some bloody good relationships with some of my clients who I can go back in and say, what do you think of this? Well, actually, no, it doesn't flow. Or, yeah, I like that. Well, that's really interesting, but what about XYZ? Right, okay, let's dive more into it. So like, for example, some of the feedback was about the lead generation section and understanding how leads work and how you develop and nurture those leads and why buyers hesitate. So we've gone into loads more depth about hesitation. So you understand it's not about you, it's about your marketing. Your content's crap. That's why there's a hesitation, because they don't know. And they don't want to tell you, like, all right, they'll go elsewhere. You've got to solve that problem. And sometimes
what's
you have to be a
what's
magician.
what's the saying? It goes like, you're doing sales because your product sucks, and you're doing marketing because you suck at sales. Or do you remember the
Yeah,
saying?
there is something like that. There is. I'll have to Google it. I'll have to chat GPT it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
No,
Mm.
but this is really very important, because if you're doing sales, you're speaking only one on one with your potential customer, and you're trying to pursue some outcome that may never come. But if you are actually doing marketing right, then you can be speaking to thousands and tens of thousands of people at once,
Yeah. But like
and nurture.
yeah, I mean, my sweet spot of my clients, as I said before, 8 to 10, 15 people companies, small companies that are resellers, software surveyors, and they're wearing many hats. So I have to think to them, right, I have to help them. Hat number one today, we're going to do marketing. Hat number two, I'm going to be a salesperson. When you mention sales to smaller companies, they freak out. They're like, oh my God, I'm a surveyor, or I'm a tech guy. I don't want to deal with this. But actually, when you understand the sales process, my team are the same. Like, my team love sales now. They absolutely love it, because it's not about selling a car. The car salesman, slimy salesman. It's actually having a relationship with someone and going, look, this would benefit you guys loads, because the trust is there. So it's like, okay, I'll buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow. And when that starts happening, then it has a compound effect, and it starts to just grow.
Mm-hmm. Isn't the problem also with the naming? Like, whenever somebody tells me that he's a salesman, it immediately sounds like he's selling insurance and whatever, really
Maybe.
boring, just trying to pursue me to something that I don't really want. So isn't the term like business development or something similar much better way how to communicate that this person is here to communicate with you, to understand your needs, and to offer you the best solution?
Yeah, I think with manufacturers, you're going to have salespeople because depending on where somebody is in the sales pipeline, they'll be handed over to a certain person.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're consultative selling, business development, they're in the nurture stage, they're, dealing with it, they're consulting, they're trying to figure out what their problem is. And especially in really complex selling. So like if it's a big project or if it's complicated equipment that they're buying, so they're buying a lot of equipment, what does that look like? What is the best solution for you? Do you need this software package? What about a maintenance package? You've got to understand, so that's consulting, that's understanding it. So then when the other ones that go into like just sales or service, it's like, right, okay, I'm going to hand you over to Jeff down here, and he's going to actually finish off the sales process, and he's going to get your information. He's going to sort out that with the invoice with the finance people. So there's different levels depending on the company size. But smaller businesses don't have that. You wear many hats. So it's understanding that where you are. So going back to juggling things. And this is why smaller companies, when they just set up, they're entrepreneurial, they're trying to do all these great things, and it's difficult. It's really difficult. And if sales and marketing is not your first thing that you can do, that is a massive learning curve. And that's why we're here, because I had the same issue at MDL. And, I was always trying to hire consultants, and I had to teach them about bringing the language of geospatial and surveying, and oh God. And I just thought, you're charging me a fortune and I'm the client and I'm teaching you everything. What's going on? So hence why I'm here.
Okay. So how does imagine the situation. Tomorrow you have a call. Hi, Elaine. I saw you on a discussion with Michael. Like, he's my best source of the information, and he has great webinars. I want to work with you, Elaine. How does the process look like? What's the first thing you tell them? Like, you got to redo the logo, or you got to spend hundreds of thousands on Google Ads. What's the journey once they already call you?
Not the part. So it's usually there's two areas. It could be three, depends if I'm consulting or not. But generally, the two areas is we do retainer work, for example, but also the academy. So there's an onboarding process. So for example, with the Geospatial Marketing Academy, we have you can log on Calendly. It asks you some specific questions. Where you are in the journey? Have you tried this before? What worked? What didn't work? Do you have a budget for this? If you like what you see, will you say yes? Is there a potential yes? Because I don't want to go into the hard sell. I've tried the hard sell. It doesn't always work. So I asked lots of qualifying questions, should I say, put my teeth back in, to understand that journey. Now, sometimes people will phone me up and do it, and I'm like, right, let's book in a call and have a Zoom call. Because one, I like to speak to people. I like to see their faces. Phone calls are great, but actually seeing somebody's face is really good, because you get also a sense of what they're trying to achieve. So I really trying to understand where they are, how big their business is, what they're trying to do. Do they have help? What is their main priority? If something goes, wrong, what happens? So it's understanding that and then starting from the beginning. When I started working with Topodot, Ted won't mind me saying this, but they were spending an absolute bloody fortune on Google Ads, like thousands a month. And I was like, right, let's chop that. Let's stop that right away. And I'm like, because when you looked at the analytics, it was sending thousands of people to the website, but they were only staying on there for 1 or 2 seconds because it was the wrong audience. It was too general. I'm like, right, let's stop that. So get rid of the weeds. And that's why when we redid GMA2, our second phase, so we've got 9 phases. Phase 2 is about the visibility sprint. So I help people get rid of some of the crap that they've got going on straight away and do the basic stuff like checking the website, using AI to help them navigate through things that they're doing right and wrong, stuff like that. And I think that is a big thing. So that's literally the process, is that journey. So it's understanding where they are and what they want to achieve, because not everybody will buy GMA, and it'd be great. Not everybody needs a marketing consultant, and not everybody needs retainer work. Because that's the other thing. When people phone me up,
not everybody can afford it. Also,
not everybody can afford it.
It comes with the price, but it's again about the positioning. You're not here to serve everybody, right?
Correct. But also, people think, they phone me up, or I had an inquiry yesterday, we'd like you to do our marketing for us. And I was like, okay, that's fine. One, there's a waiting list because we're full at the moment. And two, they want a quick win. They want a quick fix, but they're not prepared to put in the gym work. They want those abs, but they can't be asked to do it. They want us to just give them it on a plate. And then when we take over, you see, what's also been very interesting, we are very good at what we do. My team are fantastic, absolutely brilliant. They will go in, do it, and they're like, my God, that was quick. So then they also think, oh, we can do it ourselves. And then you see them years later and they're still in the same position. So, and it's because that's our forte. That's what our skill set is. We're such a focused niche marketing company. It's very, very specific because that's what I love. That and horses.
This is something that I also try to explain to my potential customers and customers that sometimes it's very easy and very simple, actually. Like also with analogy with the gym, right? It's very easy to be fit. You just have to not eat much and go to the gym like every other day. That's simple. And in 2 years, you are one fit, healthy person, right? So it's very similar to marketing strategy. For example, especially with LinkedIn and what we discussed before. So what I'm trying to explain is you don't actually need some horribly expensive courses and learning books and whatever. You actually need one mentor that will hunt you every day, so that you do what you need to do.
But you know what's really funny? So you ask Christopher Giuliano and Stuart Ward, I and Matt, all these customers, and they're like, "Oh my God, she's going to give me homework."
Exactly.
You need the homework. Just get the homework done. You will improve.
Exactly. So I always explain my job, because the LinkedIn algorithm is changing every day. So I'm saying I don't know everything about LinkedIn. I'm not here to guarantee you that if you do this 70-character headline, it will work perfect. It's a bullshit. No, I'm here for everyday WhatsApp communication where I will hunt you down. I will force you to do the post. I will hunt you to engage with other people every day for next 6 months. And in 6 months, there is the miracle in 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on. You're absolutely spot on.
Yeah. We have interesting question. I will just pop it out. I think Omar is asking about the service providers of laser scanning and surveying and photogrammetry and basically reality capturing. So once we are in the business where everybody is doing more or less the same, how can we differentiate?
That is a tough question, because over the years, it's so obvious now how everybody just copies everybody else. And it's like, oh my God. But it goes back to, with the manufacturing, it will go back to your service and your brand. And I mean by the brand, your personable brand. People buy from people. So you might have 4 manufacturers, 3 manufacturers, all got the same sort of survey equipment, right? All selling to the same sort of customers. But again, let's dive into the customers, the buyers. But it's then how you come across. Do they trust you? Will you tell them as it is? A really good person who I've known for donkey's years is Robert Martin, Surveying with Robert, he's called. He's now based in Hawaii. He's got a YouTube channel. And he used to get bollocked quite a bit for sharing, because he was a Trimble reseller. And he'd sell his equipment. He would actually start off his YouTube channel to actually educate his clients. Right, this new equipment's come in. It's not very good. And then he'd get a right bollocking off blinging Trimble, wouldn't he? And of course, NEI. But that built credibility and it built trust because he was honest. Well, actually, it does work. It will work better. But people are going to stay with the brand anyways if they get the truth. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's completely disastrous. But so again, build your personal brand. Be known and seen to give comment and what you think. Study your topic. And then also with innovation coming out, what does the company look like? What cool things are coming out? What's the philosophy of the business? Where does the company want to go? Where does it see itself? So like the big manufacturers, they're always doing like hexagon live dimensions. They're always portraying like what's the vision, where they're going to go. Incorporate that into your sales side, your business development side, and your marketing speech. Because at the end of the day, that's what you need to do. But personalize it, because people buy from people. Simple as that.
It's also important to say that since we are on LinkedIn Live, I will always do some analogies to the LinkedIn and to this journey. You have to understand that big majority of people are just consumers, not creators.
Yeah.
In statistics, if you want it in numbers, it's like maybe 2% of people or 1 to 2% of people are actually creating content. So if there are 10 companies in your area of the operation which are doing the same things that you do, I can bet my arm and leg and kidney that nobody of them is doing a content on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
there's your differentiator right there.
But also, if you look at manufacturers, anybody in sales is like, majority are like, oh, look, we just sold this to such and such. Or this new scanner, oh, it's bullshit. Bullshit. Right? Who gives a shit about that? Like, okay, it's nice and pretty and you can do that every so often, but nobody gives a shit. But the educational stuff, hey, we got this product, this customer got this product. We tested X, Y, Z. This didn't work today, and this was how we solved the problem. Educate your audience. And you know what somebody's going to say to me? Yeah, but somebody will copy me. Yeah, but they're not consistent because they don't go to the gym every day.
Yeah, exactly. Like 8 billion of people have access to the same gym that you have. Does it mean that everybody is fit?
Lazy bastards. Excuse me, LinkedIn for swearing.
No, that's very true. Yeah.
They're lazy. People are lazy, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that's the same when we are speaking about the topic, because the usual question is like, okay, Michael, I understand, but what should I post? What should I write about? And I always say, share your knowledge, share your know-how.
Correct.
No, but I don't want to share that because they will copy me. Nobody is going to copy you. Nobody sees it. Nobody cares for you. People are lazy, as you mentioned, and nobody will copy you. Zero people will copy you.
But look at me. So, okay, this is geeking out a little bit here. So I do a lot of triathlons. And one of the things, I've got my first full Ironman this August in Denmark.
Congrats.
So, oh, God. So I've been researching what they call is fat oxidization, right? Right geeky, this. But I've been researching it, how I convert my body to use more fat for that 15-hour, 14-hour race, right? So I've been diving into Tim Noakes in South Africa, Joe Frail in America, all the top coaches and scientists to understand what it means and how you do it. I've consumed hours of content doing this, right? Nobody's copying them. They're getting these people on their podcasts to glean the knowledge, to understand, to learn, because that's their speciality. They're so niche in what they do. And that is key. So going back to you, sharing your knowledge, share your knowledge, because then people go, I'm going to go to Michael because he knows about this. And that's the thing. And that's why you surround yourself with people that are just so much smarter than you and glean that information and become the best you can be as that person. 100% recommended. And books, read books. I've got millions of books. I love them. Books.
Yeah. And you already mentioned there is a different approach for service providers and the hardware or software producers, right? For service companies, just share your knowledge, share your know-how, share your success stories with clients. With hardware and software producers, you have the ideal position because you can go from client to client, do short videos with them, do their case studies, explain to people how your client, not you have the best TLS in the world. Nobody has that, right? Just go to your client, do the conversation with them, so they will tell your audience why they are using, especially your brand or your solution, right? So just share everything you can.
But it's going back to, like, we call these content buckets. So you have content buckets. You might have educational, you might have history, you might have a points list, you might have timeline stuff, you might have factual stuff. There's like different content buckets. What I sort of tell people, and we train as well, is pick 3 or 4 content buckets and write a bunch of content for those. And the other thing as well is start with a big anchor piece. So, for example, there might be something that you want to talk about, a new scanner, right? New scanner. This is what it's about. Right, let's dissect it of all the different things that we could talk about this scanner. 1, it could be features. 2, it could be history of scanning. It could be history of where it all started from. Then you've got how to use it, guides. Then you've got, different features. You've got different sections. Start with one piece and then divvy it up. So one piece of content could be 30 social media posts. And that's how you can use something like ChatGPT or Perplexity to help you create that. So going to the AI side, don't be scared and have a fear of the AI. Use it to ask the specific questions. Take your big anchor piece about your new scanner. Let's make a nice big piece about this product, and then let's look at the smaller pieces.
But let's not abuse it, because the LinkedIn is already overflowed with the AI content. Even I'm using the ChatGPT or Gemini to brainstorm the ideas, to get the detailed information. Like, I don't really have a time to be studying all the papers that are coming out from, I don't know, like 3D Gaussian splitting and everything else. But what I actually do, I ask the AI to do executive summary or give me some bullet points. Then I can just dig deeper into trying to explain the problem in normal words that actually people are using, not in all of those high-tech terms and terminology which nobody understands, and it's difficult to even watch at it, not to mention to read it. So use AI, but use it wisely, and always give there yourself. You have to always put your opinion in it and yourself, because once it's a text just copied from AI, ideally with that long dash, which which gives away immediately the AI. Then it's not the good way to go.
Absolutely spot on with that. I think I treat the AI as an editor. So it depends. Like, for example, ChatGPT, we have the Teams version of ChatGPT, so that's a little bit more secure than the normal ChatGPT. It's my editor. So I'll create something, put it in there. I've also trained it, and it now throws things back at me, and I'm like, how does it remember that? So it'll throw things back, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is clever. So, and I'll put it back in, but I'll challenge it. I challenge it. And that's one of the things is understanding how to use it. And if you're using something like Perplexity, which is another one that I absolutely use, that is your research arm. Don't necessarily use ChatGPT for research. Use the Perplexity. That goes into 6 or 7 more layers of content, deeper, a lot deeper. So they are used differently. But yeah, you spot on with that. We're riddled on LinkedIn in our industry, in our sector, with people just copying, pasting stuff, and I'm like, that's not even your voice. Like, make it sound like you. Now, a funny thing is, I think it was just before Christmas, I'd posted something about AI on my LinkedIn page, and somebody had loads of comments, and somebody had commented and said, oh, I can tell this is written by you, Elaine, not by AI. And I was laughing because it wasn't written by me or AI. It was written by my copywriter, Lydia. I trained my copywriter to know me. But that takes time. Do you know what I mean? It's like training AI. You need to train it. Don't just frivolously use it. Really set it up. But again, it goes back to time.
You know what happened to me? I was always like, I got really easily fed up with the ChatGPT, and it's always being like very, very trying to please you and apologizing and everything else. And one day I saw a prompt on I don't know, on LinkedIn or on a TikTok, doesn't matter. and I just put the customized prompt into ChatGPT so that it get rid of all the pleasant words and everything, the fluff.
Yeah.
Okay,
The fluff.
and
Yeah.
I forgot about it because I went to use Gemini for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and
Yeah.
then for some reason I came back to ChatGPT and I asked some question. It was like straightforward. This, pure honesty, blah 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 blah, and I was like, hey, did I do something to you? Why there is nothing like good question, Michael, or I'm happy to help? Nothing like that.
Yeah, I've bollocked ChatGPT a few times. We call him chatters. And I'm like, you've got it completely wrong. And then it writes back, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ball. I'm sorry, Ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to watch it. You have to watch it, but you have to be mindful to train it to work for you. So, going back to those big chunky pieces of content, the anchor posts, and then using it and saying, right, okay, this is my anchor piece. Now create me 30 posts with content bucket history, content bucket features, and content bucket guiding. And it'll come up with loads. And then you can educate.
Yeah, many of those might seem very basic or unimportant or not interesting enough, and they will be. Like you will have 2 likes, one will be from your sister and second from your boss.
Yeah.
But the point of writing 100 posts is not to get successful, is to write 100 posts, because this will teach you consistency. This will turn from the motivation to actually doing stuff, not just being motivated, but teach you the discipline, right? And you will just become a LinkedIner. You are not just wannabe posting creator. You somehow become the LinkedIner, and you will learn during the journey. Right. So really the key of writing 100 posts is to write 100 posts.
Yeah. Consistency. Going back to the gym. You want that 6-pack? Come on then. Let's do it.
Yeah. I have a question. How do you turn posts into quality leads? Or do you think it's better to approach everyone on private message?
No, okay. So that's a brilliant question, by the way. So it goes back to keeping an eye on things. So starting off with your online presence. So if people are starting to comment and ask questions and comment and liking stuff, this is good. This is good. But what's the journey? What are they interested in? Ask that question, right? Answer that question, so they say. Have you got anything then that they can go onto your website or onto your LinkedIn page again that's going to answer that question or feed that hunger? So again, thinking of the sales funnel, the traditional sales funnel, you've got the awareness, then you've got middle of funnel, right? You've got to nurture people in that funnel before they turn into a lead, okay? So they've gone from LinkedIn. Maybe you've had 2 or 3 posts on there, not necessarily links to a landing page or a website or an article on LinkedIn, but you've shared that. Then there might be another page on there, another post on there that they can click onto the post and it takes them to a landing page specifically. Then on that page, you might have what we call is gated content. Gated content is where you go onto a post, onto a page, you're like, oh, I want that guide. So you click on the guide and it asks you, oh, name, email, country, whatever. Brilliant. That is good. That's intentional, that people want that. They're interested to know more information because it's of value to them. That is now that's what I would class as a marketing qualified lead, not a sales lead, a marketing qualified lead. So then they're in the journey now. Now, what else information can you send them or point them to that's going to nurture them? And this is why you have different call to actions on the website. You don't just have get a quote. You have read more or download this guide because you want to develop them. For us, for example, we have quite a lot of guides on the website, and we get kids in survey where they put their information in. They go into what we call as a marketing qualified pool of leads, and then we nurture them. So they go into our newsletter. So they get a monthly newsletter. Now they might find that valuable, they might not, whatever. But you suddenly find, okay, that's nurturing it. We've done it automatically. For smaller companies, you can do it manually. Just takes a little bit more time as you develop that. And then, for example, going back to LinkedIn, I get a lot of people, a lot of leads through LinkedIn. They will send me a message. This is really interesting, Elaine. Do you have any further information on it? Oh, so I send them a link to a blog. Read this. Or I'll send them a webinar link. Watch this. Ah, that's really interesting. Then I will go back into the message and go, I noticed that you liked these posts, or I've noticed you watched this. I sent you the link, and have you watched it? What did you think? So you ask open questions so they come back to you with those answers. That's how we do it.
Mm-hmm. It's also important to understand that from the, let's say you have 100% of people that have read your post or seen the video, okay? You need to understand that it's more likely like 80% are not going to give you any feedback on that.
Correct.
They are not going to like the video. They are not going to share it. They are not going to comment on it. Nothing.
Nothing.
Zero.
That's fine. That's
because
fine.
because engagement today is seen as a currency.
Correct.
They are not willing to spend their precious like on anything, right? That's one option, or the second option is they don't want to be seen that they are following you for
Correct.
different reasons. We can speak about those later.
I get so many messages on LinkedIn that do not reflect my posts.
Exactly. So if you get 10 likes on your post, no worries. I can guarantee you there is at least 70, 80 people that very precisely read your post or watched the video. And the goal with the LinkedIn post is not to sell directly. It's actually to be seen and get remembered, because it takes like 7 to 11 touch points with the person, with the stranger, to get remembered. Right?
You've been doing some NLP there. You have.
I'm doing this all. Am I right or am I right, Elaine?
Spot on. Right. Question back to you, Michael. From do you get a lot of comments on your posts? I know you do, but generally.
I used to have more. A bit less now, but follow the question. So
with your comments, how interactive are you? What do you see when you're commenting back onto your own posts?
There are two things with engagement. One, I don't think only about the person that actually asked the questions, because especially mentioning the percentage, what I was saying before, that 80% is not engaging, you can count with those. So if you are writing the answer to somebody in particular, there will be like hundreds of different people that will read the answer. So like the perfect practice is to answer every question, answer every comment, not just like, okay, thank you, but give another information, give another bean to another piece of the puzzle to the information.
Agree. Yeah, spot on. And I think that's the key. This year is going to be very interesting. So I've just ordered the latest LinkedIn report. It doesn't come out, I think, till April. That's going to be really interesting, and seeing the insights, because, apart from the NSPS, the National Society of Professional Surveyors, who we run their marketing for them, their stats have just gone nuts, like insane, stupidly insane. But going back to your comment, people don't want to necessarily like or comment on our stuff because it's like, oh, I don't want to give away, because I want to see that I've got a competitive advantage here if I follow Michael or follow Elaine. But on the NSPS, it's because it's this association, there's tons and tons of communication. So that's just, it's another beast on its own. Like, oh, that's really interesting how that's happening.
Elaine, please confirm or prove me wrong with one thing. One important, with all of that quiet majority, who do you think is more likely to become your client? The one that is stalking you and comment on every one of your posts, or somebody from the silent community?
Silent community every time. I get people. So we had people buying a couple months ago. I had a couple of people buying the academy. I'd never even spoken to. They're not even linked in with me. Like, but it goes back to the trust factor. They've read all the comments. They've done their research. They've asked some of my clients, "What do you think of Elaine? You know, should I invest in this?" That's what's happened.
I received countless. I received countless messages, either to DM on LinkedIn or into email, saying,
Yeah.
"Michael, we are following you for more than 2 years. We want to work together with
Right.
you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I have no idea who you are. I had never seen your face or your company."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's exactly what is
All
happening.
the time. I have them every other day. Like I had a guy yesterday saying, "Oh, I've noticed that you've commented on Kent's post, and I'll see you at Geo Week next week." And I'm like, "Who are you?" Okay, here's my number. I'm on stand 1410.
That's why I'm always telling them, tap on my shoulder. Let's
Yeah,
speak,
it's like,
because
hello, I'm this guy. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but that takes time. Like going back to the gym scenario, it takes time. But build your personal brand. You and me have got strong personal brands. That takes time. That's taken me years. I mean, I set
Yes.
this business up in 2013 after we sold out MDL. You know, there was no online presence hardly then. And it's taken me till now to actually have a really strong presence, but it just takes time. You've got to keep chipping away at stuff.
Nobody knows you guys. Nobody knows you.
Correct.
And
Nobody knows you.
even with our followings and with our like reach and performance, it happens to me that I will come to some booth on Intergeo or wherever I am, and they have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
No idea. And it's a big company with a marketing department. There are like 20 people paid for knowing the shit, and they have zero idea that, and they are directly from my industry, from reality capturing. They, with all the honesty, I think they really should know my name from LinkedIn, right? They have no idea.
But a lot of people are very introverted. They don't want to go outside that bubble. Like, you know, me and you are very network. We go out there and we're listening and we'll learn. And that's part of our personality as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm interested to know people's thoughts, and what gets me is how they've done well in business, or they haven't done well, or what went right or what went wrong. I'm interested in that. That's part of my DNA. So I think, you know, that also helps. But I think it's going out your comfort zone. It's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Do you know what I mean? And like Stuart Ward will tell you over and over again, I made him last year, not made him. He did it himself. But go and do a webinar. Go and do a webinar. He says, I can't. It's taken him ages. But one of the things, I've just done his latest case study. So we do a one-on-one like this, and I published it. And one of the things he said, I said, what was the biggest change, you know, since you started GMA? And he said, I wouldn't have got this position. He's the marketing lead for the committee, the NSPS marketing committee. He says, that would have never happened if I had not promoted myself. He says, I've got opportunities that I never even thought of. And he's very introverted. He hates it because I'm always pushing him, do this, do that. And he's like, find it really hard. Just want to hide away in a box. But you can go onto my YouTube or onto Elaine on LinkedIn. You'll see the case study. Go and listen to it. It's very, very interesting because he started doing that.
There is no better investment than actually investing your time to your personal brand and to build this.
You've got to, and it never stops.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see me in 10 years' time, and I'll look back and go, God, why didn't you do that?
you will be on a Netflix, I'm sure.
You know, I'll have a go.
I have one question here, and I'm interested in your response. What would you say for LinkedIn marketing? Being active is actually more important than the depth of the content. Quality always, or quantity of posts for visibility?
Great question, Ricardo. Both are very important. So depending on your time factor, having visibility is key. So you'll notice that I do some fun, silly things. That's just easy stuff that we can post on a day-to-day. But one of the things that I'm changing up and going more is in-depth content, really good quality content. So depending if you're a service provider or you're a manufacturer, going deep into the key thing that you know really well, and producing 1 or 2 big quality anchor pieces that you can push out every other month is key.
If you asked me 2 years ago, I would like 190% would tell you quantity. Don't care
Yeah,
about the quality, quantity, and you will grow like this.
correct. Not
But
now.
algorithm is changing heavily, and it's going from it doesn't really matter how many followers you have right now. It's going more into interests, more into quality of the content. That's the reason why I have seen this multiple times. Like the account with maybe 200 followers can get 1,000 likes and 2,000 comments and
Correct.
100K of views,
Quality
just
content.
because the algorithm is changing. So the quality is really like getting on importance, and yeah, you can't just be posting shitty posts anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the key as well. Like, it's going back to the human factor. Be you. Like, there's only so many hours in the day that you got to do stuff. If you're out on site or you're doing so, or you're selling, be you, and show your human side. Like, I'm not afraid to have a spelling mistake in my post or be silly, or because that's my part of my personality. That's part of how I am. Talk about horses or triathlon, or sheep, that sort of thing. But then I have the serious side where I go, right, this is important. So like, going into that detail is good. So yeah, okay, going back to the algorithm, you can't control the algorithm. We can't control it.
You can control who you are.
But you can control you as a human. That is key.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you have this Gaussian curve of basically anything. So it's very same with your audience. You will have a very small portion of people who will love you. Then you will have a very small portion of people that will hate you, and you will have the majority of people who don't give a bull's crap about you, right? They don't care about you at all, whether you exist, don't exist, whatever. So your goal with the LinkedIn, with your presence on social media, is to get as many haters as possible, because with those you will get also the ones who love you, and those who love you are very easily transferable to either clients, or they can be your ambassadors that will share your content and tell other people that you are doing great job, right? So as long as you don't have haters, you are doing something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think as well, at the end of the day, I mean, dread to think of bringing up politics, but Trump,
No.
people hate Trump, he's very, very clever man. Like, okay, some of you might think he's completely stupid, but he knows he can say what he likes, right? It doesn't matter if you hate him or you love him. People from both sides of the camp go out. That is fantastic awareness. I mean, hell, how he got in presidency is because of that. Yeah. So like going back, I mean, the survey population are not risk takers. So they're very unlikely to go, oh, this is our pricing for this. And it's much more touchy because of reputation and because of all this sort of thing. But, if you have a strong thought about something, share it. And it's good, like what I talked about earlier, talking about Tim Noakes. Tim Noakes is in his late 70s. I think he's 80, was he 70? No, 76, right? Going back to the science, the research, he pushed carbohydrates in athletes for 40 years, 30, 40 years, right? That was his thing. The Law of Running book, I got that, when I was 18, 19, that I followed that. 2010, I think it was, he came across some research and he suddenly went, oh shit, I'm completely wrong. You do not need to fuel on carbohydrates to run an Ironman. Massive controversy. He got kicked out of the blinging profession. He had to go to court. All the big manufacturers that support him, like, the Red Bulls, they all wanted to sue him, blah, blah, blah. But he was humble enough to actually come up and say, right, I'm wrong with this. This is what's happening. So there's ways and means of doing stuff, but it's if you believe in that subject and you know what you're selling, that is a key thing.
No, and it's important to say your opinion out loud. Did you notice what I did at the beginning? I always I already at the beginning separated the surveyors. I said something that I think most of them just told to themselves, "Ah, you fucker," right? But this is something I like to do because it doesn't mean I don't appreciate surveyors and I think that they are doing bad job. That's totally not true. But my positioning is I'm not a surveyor. I'm not coming from the survey background. And I want to show people that you can do proper reality capturing even without surveying education, okay, and degree. So that's my positioning. And I'm not afraid to piss off some surveyors because I know there is a big portion of the people that are not surveyors and are doing similar things that I do, right?
Correct.
And it goes the same with my 2-dimer. 2D is against my religion. I got so many messages like, "Oh, we use 2D outputs because it's always better for our clients," and whatever. I don't care. I'm totally in a 3D journey. Sorry for that.
But it's quite interesting. It was last year? It was last year or the year before. My team came back from one of the shows and they said, "Oh my God, this manufacturer's promoting you don't need to be a surveyor to buy this equipment," and blah blah blah. This is a controversial subject, but do you know what?
The one with the red logo.
could be, but it's not right or wrong, right? Because as a manufacturer, with my manufacturer's hat on, what's wrong with me producing equipment that you do not need to be a surveyor for, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay.
No,
I put my surveyor's hat on. And I'm pissed off, right? But surveyors have got to evolve. Quite a lot of the time, they're stuck in their traditional ways, but they need to evolve. They need to improve. They are so good at what they do. They can get rid of all the shitty stuff that the equipment can do, but the stuff that is really hard, they need to stick with.
You know what are surveyors? What? Surveyors are taxi drivers of the future. It doesn't really matter whether you are the best taxi driver ever.
I disagree.
The industry is changing heavily. I'm not saying that they will disappear, but there is a lot to do for them to change their perspective and to add something new to what they are actually doing in the field and how they do their business.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think there's a level. I think it depends on which type of survey application you're looking at. So you've got land surveyors, hydrographers, bathymetry. You've got a different array of mine survey. There's so many applications, right? I think the land surveyor has to evolve. There's lots of applications in land survey that can go to equipment where they don't have to be qualified. Again, it depends. If you're in America, it depends on your state and then what's happening there, and then rest of the world, that sort of thing. But there's different levels, so it will evolve. But surveyors, they cover everything. You cannot build a bridge without a surveyor.
It would be a good disclaimer for me right now to say that my statement is connected to actually capturing the world, right? Not to doing the other way around, right? What you just said, like you cannot build a bridge without a surveyor. I'm totally there with you. Okay, so the one without the degree and without the proper education should not be allowed to like say it's going to be built here, right? I'm totally agree on board with you there. So let's not put all the surveyors or all the workflows of surveyors or services of theirs into one bucket. We can agree.
Correct. No, you're absolutely right. But just going back to those different ways, the manufacturer's got to keep producing equipment. They've got to keep evolving and being innovative. When I went on, I was keynote speaker with Maritz Lara at the Hexagon Live quite a few years ago, 2022, 24, I can't remember. Anyway, a few years back, he asked me to talk about surveyors and innovation. I said, surveyors are not innovative. You are. Hexagon's innovative, Leica's innovative. You're coming up with equipment all the time to like listen to do different things because that's what manufacturing's about, right? The surveyor's got to evolve and develop. So it's like there's different ways of looking at it. And it fascinates me as a subject, because it's like the AI coming out now. The marketing world is in massive uproar about AI. I'm on the AI plus camp. I am go for it. Let's do it. Whereas quite a lot of copywriters and marketeers and, the marketing, oh my God, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I'm like, that's a fear. You've got a fear. I embrace that fear. Okay, what can I do? How can I learn? How can I become better as a person? How can I improve me as a marketeer in geospatial to make sure all you guys get the best education that I can give you? That's what's important to me. And as from a surveyor's perspective or reality capture perspective, is like, what can I put in my business or my skill to improve what I do? Same thing.
Mm-hmm. We had a great conversation with Igor Verenino from Emlit during the Intergeo. Have you seen the video? We posted it on YouTube as well. You can find it on Frida's channel. I will put it in the comments later. And he was saying exactly the same. Like when they came up with their devices with very like dumb-proof tools to just measure your points, basically, right? They got so much hatred from the industry, because they were saying like, you are ruining our industry and ruining our positions. No, we're just like doing things simpler, more simple and easier to use.
Though that's been going on for years. If you look back, 100, 200 years ago, it was happening then.
Yeah.
The different things that came out, the car. Oh my God, we're not going to have horses anymore. Trains, planes, same thing.
So when I was referring to surveyors as dinosaurs, that's exactly what I have in mind. Like you guys just need to evolve from what you've been doing for the last 45, 50, 70 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I wanted to touch one more point, because we were discussing this before, and you have some like 90-day plan for your guys or your clients. So could we just touch that? Like how to get on that horse with the right marketing?
Yeah. So one of the big things is when people look at marketing or commercial marketing, strategic marketing, there's lots of things to do, and they automatically go to a website, or we need to do this, whatever. One of the things I train people, teach people in, is to block out, look at the year, look at the next 3 years, but what do you need to get done in the next 90 days that's important? So for example, it could be 1 landing page and 3 blogs on your website. That's it. Okay. The reason being is we call it chunking down. So you chunk out what you want to plan. So what if you're in a year of growth, you've got a new product launch or a new service coming out or whatever. What is 1 or 2 things that's going to move the needle, so to speak? It's going to move you forwards. It's going to get you closer to that better client, to that monetary goal, to that hiring that tech down the road because he's really expensive. What have you got to do? So by chunking it down into 90 days is long enough to get something done, but short enough to actually see the change. Because people, if you've got a big project, like I need to do a new website, that could take years. Let's start with 1 or 2 pages. So for example, one of my customers, Christopher Giuliano in the States, he's launched a new website. I says, right, last 90 days, I was like, launch that website. It's not finished. Launch the website. Okay, launched it. Fine, because the original one was crap. It was boring. It didn't say anything. Launched the new one with a few edits. Brilliant. Now it's live. Okay. Now we're going to fix this page. Now we're going to add this on. Step by step, just bit by bit, keep doing it. So much easier from a psychological perspective, so much easier to actually implement.
We are in a service business, so the perfection is a bug, not a feature in our world. Like let's Mercedes, let's Leica, let's big companies that are producing millions of the same product daily or yearly. Let the perfection for them.
Correct.
We have enough space. We can just do the failing, as long as you are failing forward, you're still on a good track, on a good path, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've done. It's interesting because I've done a lot of research and sort of tested it out with clients, and I've just seen a massive improve with 90 days.
Mhm.
Focus on 90 days. What do you need to get done? So, like all you guys now that are listening to this, one thing to take away: write down 2 or 3 things that you need to get done in the next 90 days that will move your business forwards. And it could be as something as boring as a process. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be marketing and sales related. It could be just human process.
Mhm. I started to go to the gym regularly in the last few months, and what I like to do is to listen to audiobooks. And right now I'm listening to Atomic Habits. I don't remember the author, but I know most of the people will know the book. And there is one interesting part about setting goals and
Yeah.
actually becoming somebody else. In terms
Yeah.
of, if you set your goal, for example, that I want to reach 10,000 followers on LinkedIn. That happened to me. I had the goal. I want to have 10,000 followers. You know what happened the day when it became reality? When I had 10,000 followers? Do you know what happened?
No.
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
I was working my ass off for 2 years or 1.5.
Yeah.
Then the day came, 10,000 followers. Nothing changed
But it's like
because
it's like,
I set the goal that has like no meaning. You know what's
yeah,
actually meaningful? The
progress.
journey that one
Progress.
and a half year, because
Yeah.
I became a LinkedIner, right?
Yeah. Agree. Progress makes you happy.
That
Progress.
that's very easy, and
But
it's the same that I'm doing with my YouTube right now. Okay, also with these webinars. I don't really care how many views it has or how many subscribers I have. I just decided that I'm going to become a YouTuber in this
yeah,
3D world. And I don't care about the views right now, because I know that there will come that hockey stick effect and graph with
yeah,
with the
compound.
grow. But it will come. I don't care whether it's going to be tomorrow or in a year.
Yeah. But it's progress. Progress makes you happy. It's
Yeah.
funny, like you hit a milestone, like say you hit 5 million in revenue. Yay! Oh, still got the same
And
shitty problems.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I've
yeah.
got a bigger tax bill.
And the bad thing is that if you actually reach the goal, you will lose the motivation for
Yeah, it's
the
true. I don't
future
know what I'm going to
progress.
do after Ironman. I think I'll probably do a few more Ironmans, but I've got a spine race is on my bucket list, which is 250 miles of running.
Mm.
But I can't train for that until I've stopped doing
Okay, so,
triathlon.
so so after that there will be like 500 miles, then
Who knows?
1,000.
Who knows? Who knows? But the thing is, that's why going back to your vision statement, you need to have a dream. What is your vision of your business? Like, what does it look like? And like for Get Kids Survey, I want to get surveying known to every child in the world, in every country, in every language. Shit, Elaine, that's a big vision. And I'm like, we'll
No,
get
but
there. It might not be in my
you,
lifetime.
you know, if you decide that you are a gym guy or gym gal or girl,
Yeah.
or how do you say, then in 1 year you will be a fit, right?
Yes.
You will be a fit person.
Yes.
So just don't care, just do the daily routine, do what you need
Yeah.
to do, and you will become that. So for example, for the personal brand, it's the same. Like, you don't really need to care about the number of likes or followers or whatever.
Vanity.
The moment you come to Intergeo or GeoWeek or wherever, and somebody taps on your shoulder, I know you from LinkedIn, you have won.
Ooh. It's so funny. You're like, oh, hi. Because like I'm like, somebody said hello to me and I'm like, oh, hi, do I know them? Do I know them? I can't remember. Am I
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
old?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is already happening to my students with they have like 7,000 followers. It don't really mean a shit right now how many
No,
followers you have. And this
doesn't.
will happen to you. You will come to some event, and people will recognize you because you are winning the industry. If you are posting enough, you will get remembered, and people will come to you and speak to you. And
Yeah.
that's the greatest feeling you can have, like the biggest satisfaction when
It
you
is,
actually
it is
get
nice.
recognized.
Yeah, it is. It is lovely. And people come up to you, oh, I saw you at this, I did this, I'd like to just hang out with you. Fine.
Yeah.
I was laughing because I was just speaking to one of the Regal guys this morning, and I've created this group. A couple of years ago, we started going to breakfast every morning. This egg cafe down the road. It's about, I don't know, 5 blocks from the hotel near the exhibition centre. And there was like 5 of us or something. And then last year there was about 10 of us. And this year there's about 15 of us. So I have this like little group of egg people. I've called them the egg group. Come on, let's go for breakfast. And I'm like, every year I've heard about this egg group. And I'm just like, holy shit. That's just grown legs, literally. And everybody comes with me for breakfast in the mornings because it's a really good coffee shop. Same thing, built and built and keep going, and it's exposure.
Yeah. No, perfect. And maybe before we go, because I want to touch also the kids into survey, or how is the group called? Get kids. Get kids in the survey. Yeah. I need to plug myself before that. Okay, so just a really quick commercial. Also this year we are doing this 3 days conference in Prague. It's a conference dedicated to 3D world, 3D industry. This year it will be more focused on 3D Gaussian splatting, as it's going through every bigger company. All the big guys are jumping on it, so this is very important. We will have great speakers there, people from the field that actually have experience with either processing or capturing data or delivering to their clients. So make sure to come to Prague. It's on 5th and 6th May this year. You can check all the information on freedice.com. You're all welcome. And let's speak about your project.
Well, actually, before we go onto my stuff, one big takeaway I got, Gaussian splatting. I know all about that and how it works, and it brilliant. Not that I'm into that stuff, but bloody loved it. I would say your conference was one of the best conferences I've been to, and you know why it was? Because you had one conference room that everybody went into. That was a big thing. Now, you might, over time, have little conference things, but everybody was involved. Everybody was immersed into the speakers. Now, I think you had 2 speakers that were a bit, nah. Every single other one were brilliant. I was glued. I mean, me and Rami sat on the comfy sofas, which are just fantastic, by the way. Got to keep them. And the information was brilliant. I can't remember the guy who scanned that bridge, but he was just fascinating. Pete Kelsall, oh my God. I mean, scanning Alcatraz. I mean, he slept in cell block D. Holy shit. Like, I was glued to it. Even the controversial one with the Israeli guy on Gaza Strip, they were brilliant speakers. Absolutely brilliant. So you chose really well. I mean, the chicken guy, I hope the chicken guy comes back. I'm going to have to get a horse outfit if I'm coming back this year. So it was just brilliant.
I'm afraid this will happen. This will become a thing that people will come with different.
But they were very good. They were very diverse, Michael. I think that's the key thing. And you had a small little exhibition area. So when people on breaks, it was flooded. Brilliant, and that's a big problem that geo business here in London, not to say here, massively down south to me, but they lost all that when they moved it to the Excel. They lost the intimacy and the human element. So I don't know where that's going to go in the future. Geo Week is like what geo business used to be. So that's why I'm really excited about that. So I just wanted to put that, but highly recommend it. Prague is just unbelievably amazing. And actually the location, even though it was a little bit out of town, it was perfect. It was perfect. So
thank you so much for these words, because this was the goal. Like, we had 2 main goals for the conference last year. One, to bring all the rock stars of our industry. So, okay, there might be people that are doing some bigger jobs or whatever, but we brought the people worth more than 500,000 followers on LinkedIn. Okay, so the social media impact was incredible, right? That's the first thing. And second thing, we strongly focused on delivering the value on the stage, not
huge.
just promoting bullshits. most of the people were from the field, from the industry, just sharing their knowledge and everything they know. So this was a big, and the third bonus thing, yes, networking. This was just amazing.
Networking. Yeah. But do you know what I think the big thing is? Your speakers told stories.
Mhm. Mhm.
They didn't just tell you, a PowerPoint presentation. It was a story. And that captured people's attention.
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Thank you so much for this. So let's talk about let's get kids to the survey.
Sure. So, get kids in the survey. So, there's a few things that are happening at the moment. Not for a conversation today. We tried to get it into Minecraft, but that literally failed miserably. But that's for another story. So we'll have to talk about that another day. But we are launching Monopoly. Monopoly surveying is coming out this year. It's with Hasbro, so it is with the manufacturer. So we're dealing with them. And we've actually got one sponsorship place left on the board of 23 sponsors. So just so you know, have a look at that. But yeah, so the whole point of it is it's all industry sponsored. So everything that we produce, it's from industry. So we don't have any government sponsorship, which we probably should look into. But then there's controls that come with government sponsorship, and I don't like being controlled. But that's the key thing. We're producing the posters, again, just things that people can visualize and use. And the whole base of it is for 12-year-olds and under. And the reason being is because you always remember something as a child. And you're like, when you get into the stuff later on, so much better. So actually, we should probably not just get kids in survey, but get kids into reality capture. We should have actually a little diversification there. And I think we could then start producing the same sort of thing again, the posters, the homework projects. The reason being, when we started it, was people were asking for stuff all the time. And I was like, right, let's do this. Let's produce a poster. And it just went wild. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is actually touching a nerve. And it goes back to, again, the surveying community just wasn't very good at communicating. And that's what happens. I mean, lots of professions are probably very similar as what we are. So that's why we've started it, and it will have legs, and it will keep going on stuff. Because my dad says, Elaine, you should get kids into farming. I was like, oh my God, let's get the survey done first, please. So that is the big thing. But yeah, we've got Monopoly launched this year, so it's going to be amazing. And I don't like to do things crappy. I like to do things really good. So that's happening.
Can people already do some pre-orders, or how does it work?
Yes, but they will be. We're printing 5,000 board games. So you will be able, well, actually, if you sent me an email saying, right, I want to reserve 20 copies of this, that's it. Because when 5,000 are gone, 5,000 are gone. So we actually have had we've got a pre-order actually from the States for 1,000 copies already. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, maybe we should have produced more than 5,000. But then of course they're going to become unique, aren't they? So people are going to want to keep them. So that's the big thing.
It was really great. I just have one last ask for Elaine. If there are any questions under the event, under this post, please come back later and answer those.
I will definitely answer those. Not a problem. Anytime. For you, anything.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.